How do you and most people spend their free time? Right, playing video games or watching movies. And if you don't do either, I'm not exactly sure what you're doing here, but you're very welcome to stay. Games and movies have been combined for a long time, like turning one of the best games ever made, Max Payne, into one of the worst movies I have ever seen. Or making games to go along with the movies, just like there's a ton of Star Wars games. But what if we transform some of these movies into a racing game? This sounds strange to you? Well, let me show you the world of Trackmania's creative maps and how you get to race through some of the best movies ever made. We start in a galaxy far, far away. TIE fighters are blasting by, shooting lasers, the X-Wings trying to dodge them, and then there's you, in the middle of it, transported into one of the wars in the Star Wars universe. The Rebel Alliance against the Empire. And you have to finish this khaki map, a style of map based on bugs and tricks. While racing, the AT-AT Walker is standing there, towering over you, heading his way towards destruction. This is Whiskey's first ever khaki map, and he wanted to create something with just the vanilla blocks from the game. After just finishing watching the Star Wars movies, he saw the opportunity to create Star Wars structures and figures with just the vanilla blocks. He placed them in a style called free block, combining multiple blocks into another shape until he created the Star Wars figures. We're gonna go over them, and we start with the AT-AT Walker. The all-terrain armored transport is a four-legged transport and combat vehicle used by the Imperial ground forces. Standing over 20 meters tall, these massive structures are used as much for psychological effects as they are for tactical advantages. Kinda meaning they're pretty much useless besides transporting clone troopers, but meant for intimidating their enemies. The X-Wing is a versatile Rebel Alliance starfighter that balances speed with firepower. Armed with 4 laser cannons and 2 proton torpedo launchers, the X-Wing can take on anything the Empire throws at it. And lastly, of course, we have the TIE Fighter. The TIE Fighter was the unforgettable symbol of the Imperial fleet, carried aboard Star Destroyers and battle stations. TIE Fighters were single-pilot vehicles designed for fast-paced dogfights with Rebel X-Wings and other starfighters. The iconic TIE Fighter led to other models in the TIE family. The terrifying roar of a TIE Fighter's engine would strike fear into the hearts of all enemies of the Empire. The one big challenge Whiskey the Mapper encountered was placing the Star Destroyer that you can see in the distance. A dagger-shaped type of capital ship used by the Republic, known from the iconic intro scene. It's equipped with a bunch of lasers and serves as a flying base. Whiskey wanted to have its silhouette in the distance, just like one would see in the war. But he couldn't place it outside of the stadium, so he used some 3D triangle technology to give the impression that there was a Star Destroyer in the distance, even though the texture is right there. After seeing the goals of this track, you might have realized this one isn't easy to solve. But what if I tell you there was a cheese? And it shortens this track to just landing one trick. Just a bit over a year after the 1-month-long khaki competition was done, Megostatus found a cut. And yes, I spent 2 hours resetting just to use my own clip for this video. That is the kind of stuff we do on my stream, so if you're interested, please check it out. We stay in space, and more accurate, we are within a O'Neal cylinder from the movie Interstellar. The O'Neal cylinder is a concept for a large rotating space habitat designed to provide artificial gravity and a living settlement space for humans in space. O'Neal used to be a teacher at Princeton University and gave his students the task to design large structures in outer space with the intent of proving sustainable living is possible. The cooperative result inspired the idea of the cylinder, but he wasn't the first with this idea. Actually, in 1954, the German scientist Hermann Oberth described the use of a gigantic habitable cylinder for space first. But let's get back to the movie and let me explain the plot really fast. The world in Interstellar is one generation away from being extinguished. Father of 2 kids, Cooper,
Third. Find the gear, dumbass. Grind it.
Shut it!
follows coordinates found in his daughter Murph's room, left by a supposed ghost, and ends up in a hidden station from NASA.
Don't you know who we are, Coop?
No, Professor, I don't.
You know, my father, Professor Brand. We're NASA.
NASA.
NASA. The same NASA you flew for.
I heard they...
He goes on a mission to save humanity, which turns out he was never supposed to come back to Earth, but to find a new planet and settle, and make humanity survive. But Cooper never gave up on his family, and after saving his space pilot's mate, he gets sucked into a black hole.
Learn from the master. Ranger 2, prepare to detach.
What? No! No! Cooper!
3.
Cooper, what are you doing?
Detach.
Not knowing what is waiting for him within, he gets surprised to end up back in his house, but in a 5-dimensional space, where he isn't trapped by time anymore. He sends his daughter a message in Morse code, which leads her to build multiple O'Neal cylinder stations.
One little girl's bedroom, every moment. It's infinitely complex. They have access to infinite time and space, but they're not bound by anything.
Dot, dash, dot.
On one of those, he gets saved and gets to say goodbye to his daughter, which by now has gotten very old.
It's me, Pearl. How would you know?
I know.
The space settlement represents living on Earth, and we get to drive through one of them ourselves. But let's get back to our home planet. We land back on Earth in a forgotten town along the US Route 66 called
Radiator Springs.
a place that is entirely inhabited by anthropomorphic vehicles, replacing all humans, where a self-centered, self-obsessed, arrogant rookie race car lives named Lightning McQueen.
When is the last time you cared about something except yourself, Hot Rod?
The mapper Alex had a connection to the Cars movies when growing up and wanted to put his passion into a project meaning tons to him. Cars, an animated comedy film produced by Pixar, is set to build up to the most important event of the year, the Piston Cup. Over the years, the franchise has grown to 5 movies, 4 short movies, and 2 series. A universe where an old rusty tow truck having a sister can somehow start a whole-ass road trip.
Bye. I'm heading back east to go to my sister's wedding. Anyway, bye.
Wait a minute. You have a sister? Let's make it a road trip.
In the first movie, there's an intense rivalry between Strip the ultimate Giga Chat racer, the cunning Chick Hicks, and our protagonist, Lightning McQueen. They all end up in a tie, which leads to the tiebreaker race in California. On this track, you get to be him for just a bit, and cruise along Route 66 on one of the US most famous highways, also known as Mother Road. It crossed most of the US from Chicago to Santa Monica, over a length of almost 4,000 kilometers, passing through 8 different states. This road sadly was closed in 1985, but nowadays parts of it are still being used and it's often part of a road trip. On Lightning McQueen's way to the tiebreaker, he gets separated from his transport truck, Mac, and with his reckless driving, ends up damaging the toned road. On this Trackmania track, you get to see 2 buildings from Radiator Springs, the closed Wheelwell Motel, which sadly had a lack in customers after the interstate was built, and just like in the actual history, less people drove on Route 66.
40 years ago, that interstate didn't exist. The town got bypassed just to save 10 minutes of driving.
The second location is the Cozy Cone Motel, and it is run by Sally. The motel contains 7 buildings looking like road cones, which are the rooms you get to stay in. On the Trackmania track, we only encounter 4 of them. The silly motel was inspired by the real-life blue Swallow Motel and Tokyo Mary, and the teepee-shaped Wing Wham motels. Towards the end of the map, we see a bridge and a waterfall, another iconic place from the movie where Sally was raising up McQueen. This map overall perfectly mimics the cartoon style of the franchise and lets you be one of the cars for just a little bit. The next map is about another cartoon world, but now we end up in Bobsville, the city where Bob the Builder is living and working. Bob the Builder is a British animated children's show about a construction contractor named Bob and his team of talking vehicles and friends who work together to complete various building projects and solve problems in their community. The show emphasizes teamwork, problem solving, and a positive can-do attitude. The creator Keith Chapman has also made a show loved by kids nowadays called Paw Patrol. Bobsville is a town that is named after Bob's father, Robert, who built most of it. The town approximately has a population of about 3,000 people. The mapper, Mr. Pepsi, loves to create maps about topics no one has done before, and so he did with this Bob the Builder map. The planning, building, and researching, which included watching a bunch of the show again, which made very clear to him it is 100% a kids show, took altogether around half a year. Since this map is about Bob the Builder, of course the start and parts of the map are using a Trackmania block known as Bob, short for bobsleigh. This map, just like the first one we covered, is also just built with vanilla blocks, which makes recreating all the different vehicles even more impressive, which took about 3 tries to get them right. On top of that comes the fact that if you place too many blocks, the light map goes crazy. So it's a constant battle between wanting more scenery but being scared of having too many blocks mixing up the whole map. You might have noticed the funny looking trees and sunflowers. The mappers went with an approach of using plastic blocks here to fit the aesthetic of the rest of the map instead of using the vanilla trees which are already in the game but look way too realistic. The speaking construction vehicles play a big role in the series and movies, as they all work together to solve any problem coming their way.
Vroom, vroom, I'm so fast. I'm the fastest. Can you beat my time? Vroom. Look here how fast I drove.
On this map built by Mr. Pepsi and Tag 661, they recreated just that. The different cars speak and help you figure out how to solve Pillard. They collab with a bunch of members and streamers from the community to have them voice act. Pillard is Bob's cat, which is blue and has black stripes. She often finds herself in problematic situations, like making her way into the middle of a construction job, which may or may not be on purpose. Or like, on this map, getting stuck in a cave. On this journey of trying to save the Smurf-colored cat, you will get to talk to Spot. He was voiced by Tacky, a streamer and longtime player known for being the guy when it comes to cuts and tricks. So it just fits so well, he voices the little prankster who jokes with you and then shows you a cut to get to Pillark. The most known anthropomorphic construction vehicles from the show, of course, are all represented on this map. Scoop, the yellow backhoe loader, often considered the unofficial leader of the machine team. Muck, the red bulldozer dumper, known for his strength and ability to move materials. Dizzy, the orange cement mixer, notable for her eagerness and excitable nature. Lofty, the blue crane, often depicted as a bit nervous but always ready to help. And Rolly, the green road roller who loves to sing and has a habit of spinning his eyes when excited. But of course, we also get to meet the key people from this universe, just like we run into Bob. There's also a track of the day version of this map, which took a bit of tweaking on the legal side so it can actually be used and Nadeo can advertise the track. Like when loading the map, the original soundtrack had to be removed and renaming the map so there isn't any IP issues. After we've covered so many dope and lovely tracks, let's talk about a map that made me rage quite a bit, but which I find so creative and cool looking, it has to be covered as well. Also technically not really a movie map, but we ignore that. We stay in the realm of animation, but transition to the world of manga and animes. We're in another town named Shiganshina. It's a town located on Paradise Island, a place where titans roam, which were spawned after this vegan girl let go of a pig and was hunted down by her village, only for her to fall and touch this alien-looking underwater creature, which resulted in the first ever titan to be created. I have totally watched the full show to have all the background information about the story, but let's focus on the city we are in and where this place is so important. This district and many more are surrounded by 60 meters tall walls, of which 10 meters are underground. They are made out of wall titans, which inside the wall surrounded by stones. The wall titans are primarily made out of muscle tissues and lack skin, which looks super freaky. If anyone decides to attack the city, these wall titans will be released to attack the rest of the world, which were built after Cole Fritz saw memories of the fallen titan and saw how they did more harm than good. Now riddling with guilt, he wanted to have nothing to do with them and their conflict. He apparently created those titans. Okay, I think we can see how there's a long story to this, so I will try to focus on the city and its key elements to the story without covering too much background information. Trying to keep the titans out and stay away from the war after one colossal titan spawned and kicked down the huge door into the wall Maria, the most outer wall of the three existing, forcing the humans to abandon their home and retreat behind the wall Rose. This city was the first one to be attacked by the titans after a century of peace. And now we're here, roaming through the city with one titan overlooking us on the stunning RPG map created by Ockens. This map is representing the first episode of the show right before the titan kicks down the door. Within the walls, you might realize that the buildings are all heavily inspired by the late Renaissance German architecture. The inspiration for that city is supposedly the German city of Nördlingen. Also, fun fact, in Attack on Titans, there's a character called Carla, just like me, and I always love to see my name being used anywhere, in shows or movies, since it's so rare to hear the name here in Europe. But of course, she's eaten by a titan in the first episode, Rip Bozo, I guess. Since we're talking about movies and we're playing a racing game, it only makes sense for there to be a Fast and Furious track. The Fast and Furious franchise is an action film series centered on street races, heists, and the family.
I don't have friends, I got family.
The core group on which the movies revolves around. Over the years, they grow from street races to espionage and even counter international criminals. But we stay with one of the earlier movies, the third one exactly, which is based in Japan. On the 17th of December in 2023, we get to play a Cup of the Day map, which is called Tokyo Drift, which was based on the moment Sean was racing DK in the parking garage in the third movie of the Fast and Furious series. Sean, an outsider who had to move to Japan to live with his dad and now tries to make some money with illegal street races in the drifting community. He joins his illegal car meet and starts talking to his classmate, Neela. But her alpha boyfriend isn't cool with this and confronts Sean about his territory. So like any cool man would do, Sean challenges him to a race. On this map, we get to drive on wood with wet wheels, which makes the car drift around corners when kept on a 45-degree angle. We get to pass all the 6 sport cars and all the spectators, which are all also cars and drifting enthusiasts. The track is marked by the orange cones, just like in the movie scene, and contains of a lot of sharp turns. Crashing over and over again is kind of on the menu here, just like Sean does in the scene, and honestly, he kind of sucks. But his skill and character will grow over the span of the movie. Interesting to know is the spiral road that connects the different levels of the parking garage that we get to drift downwards on, while in the movie they actually drift upwards. That is where the finish line is placed. On this track, we get to see a bit more. We make our way outside of the garage and see a bit of the flashy night sky of Tokyo. The parking garage we get to drive through and that was used in the movie is actually located at the Hawthorne Plaza Mall in Los Angeles, and interestingly enough was used in a bunch of movies, just like Rush Hour.
Loved his job, just a little too much.
Or music videos by Chris Brown, Taylor Swift as a filming location. And lastly, I want to cover the probably most stunning map in this whole video. That is the only one we're gonna cover today that hasn't been published in Trackmania 2020, the most recent release, but it was made in Trackmania 2 Stadium. Laputa, a floating island also known as Castle in the Sky, a film published by the Japanese studio Ghibli back in 1986, which totally still holds up until today. This RPG map released back in 2022 and was 2 years in the making. Full of self-created 3D models and spectacular placement, the mapper Skylight 22 recreated the whole castle himself. In the movie, the girl Sheeta, also known as Lucita, Tuel, or Laputa, is traveling on an airboat which gets raided by pirates. Those are who are after the girl's crystal she got from her mother right before she died. She ends up in a situation with no escape and ends up just jumping down, seemingly falling into her death.
Oh no! There goes my crystal! Oh no!
Her mother's crystal, however, has magic powers and makes her fall just like a feather. The boy Patsu finds her and catches her. He saves her from the pirate who chased her to this town. The film's protagonist, Patsu, has a photograph his father took when he got a glimpse of the almost mythical place, Laputa. Because his father died, still trying to prove Laputa's existence, Patsu dreams of finding it and proving his father was right. The two kids escape together, again by falling, showing the stone's power one more time. Before randomly meeting up with the boy's uncle, who lives in a cave mining Ethereum.
Inside these rocks. Let me show you.
What is it, Uncle Palm?
Great-grandpa used to tell me that the rocks become restless when Laputa appears over the mine.
The city seems to have appeared right over the mine, so naturally they go on their mission on finding it. After lots of plot twists, they end up teaming up with the pirates and make it to Laputa. And that's where our journey in Trackmania starts. We land on a platform on top of the castle and are greeted by the same robot, just like the kids are in the movie. On the path, we follow the same symbol like you will see on the crystal, which contains the royal family symbol of this place, these which are our checkpoints. While we drive through the overgrown greenhouse-like area, you get to see the walls which from within are see-through but look like stone from the outside. And even a small reference to the movie in which the last working robot gives the little girl a small flower. While we explore, we stumble upon a memorial which Sheeta has no issues reading, even though the language used seems unknown to both children. This is where we see all the robots resting, seemingly out of power after they were left behind. We explore the depths of this ancient castle, a truly mysterious looking place, wondering what life felt like back when humans still used to live here. This 2-year-long project, a perfect resemblance of this place, is truly mind-blowing to me. While we get to explore this castle in peace, the 2 kids and the pirates get followed by the army, who's also after the huge treasure hidden in this place. No one cares to keep this place intact and preserve it, or make it accessible to everyone, so a piece of history and magic can be shared with humanity. No, sadly, the human greed is too strong, and they even bomb open walls. Sheeta gets kidnapped for like the 50th time by another ancestor of her family trying to become king of this castle, who took the stone from her.
Well, looks like we caught a little princess. Don't hurt her!
Just like Patsu, we get to climb up a root which is growing down the castle lowest point, trying to save Sheeta yet again. Muska, the bad Ankh, unleashes the power of this place and uses the robots to attack the army and anything in between.
The king of Laputa. Under of Laputa. Sheeta, I'm coming.
While the magic is unleashing, square blocks with a computer ship looking like pattern move around, flying through the air in a very satisfying way. This room seems to be the control center of the castle. We then get to continue to explore, which feels like every corner of this place. While I show some more of this map, I will use the opportunity to explain some more we know about creating this map. Blender was used to create 3D textures of this castle. Just creating the model and its texture alone took so many hours. You can see how scenes from the movie were used in reference to make this map look so close to the anime movie itself. If you want to get a look at the whole map, which I highly recommend, please watch Scarlet22's video or check out the map yourself. This Trackmania map follows the events within the movie very closely. So now we come across the room where Patsu convinces Muska to give him 1 minute with Sheeta just to say goodbye. She stole the crystal from Muska and ran away. While they're hugging, they together say the magic spell, with which the castle gets destroyed. After seeing what this place unleashed within the adults, they decide it's best for it to be forever gone. Towards the end of this map, we are within the Metrodome on Laputa, which houses the central crystal that provides the island's levitation and powers its technology. This crystal, made of Ethereum, is the key to Laputa's power, and it's sought after by various characters for its potential military and economic value. The dome itself is a symbol of Laputa's advanced technology and its connection to the natural world, as it protects the crystal and allows of its power to be harnessed. The finish is placed on a platform below the Metrodome, where Muska tricks the army to stand on before letting it move out of the way, letting them fall into death. I know there's way more maps based on movies, but for now, that is it with this video. Again, it took a lot of time, work, and research, talking to mappers, watching the movies or shows myself, and playing the maps. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new about Trackmania, and thank you for watching.